afternoon. I've got the pleasure now to introduce you to the Wien Geschichte Wiki, the Historical Wiki of Vienna, which is the wiki run here in the archives, which is the largest city wiki and in the world. And it's intended to be a historical knowledge database here in the Magistrate of Vienna. I just want to give you a short overview of what this wiki is, who is, what are the institutions running this this wiki, and how it works and where it goes. I have to say that I'm not a technician, I'm not an IT expert, I'm an archivist and a historian, so you get just the user perspective here. But we've got an expert in all technical questions, that's Bernhard Grabiner, and he will then, so if there are technical questions, I will hand them over afterwards. I just want to say this in advance. So, the Wien Geschichte Wiki is a cooperation. It's a cooperation between the archives, the municipal and provincial archives of Vienna, and the Vienna City Library, so two departments of the Viennese magistrates. But, as I said before, we've got technical assistance by the KDZ, the Center for Public Administration Research, in person of Bernhard Grabiner, and the IT department of the city, the Magistrate Department number 14. And we've got partners from within the city, so an important partner, as you can imagine, in historical questions is the historical museum of the city, called Wien Museum, the Department of Culture, but the magistrate as a whole is our partner. And we've got external institutions that are our partners. For example, the Society for the History of Vienna that is located here in the archives, but also the Mediathek of the Technical Museum of Vienna that has a lot of audio sources, and institutions at the University of Vienna like the Institute for Austrian Historical Research. The wiki is online since September 11th, 2014, so we are online only for a few weeks now, and so I can just present a project that is very young, has a very young history, a short history in being online. So what was the motivation of the archives to do a wiki? We wanted to continue the Historical Encyclopedia of Vienna called Jaike. The Historical Encyclopedia of Vienna was printed and was published in 6 volumes and last updated in 2004. So we said, okay, this is a perfect basis to start with, and we should try to bring this into the electronic times. And what do we do? And it was very important for us to not only think about bringing, digitizing these 6 volumes with nearly 30,000 articles, but also to connect it to our archival systems. So the Vienna, the WISE, Wiener Archivinformationssystem, so the archival systems of the archives. So what we did first was to look for a license agreement with the publisher of this printed version, and we purchased all rights for the city of Vienna to start this project. At the same time, the library started a project. They offered a concept for a digital history of the city of Vienna. It was called Wien Digital, and then both the archives and the library, not knowing of the plans of each other, asked the politicians for extra money to start this project. So then you can see this is the political side also plays a role. It's not only the administration, but we also have to ask the council, our councillor for culture in the city of Vienna, about his opinion and for money. So then the councillor said, okay, good project. Digitization is something we want to bring forward, but there will not be two projects. You have to, so the library and the archives have to cooperate, and that was the beginning of the wiki project. The wiki idea came from the archives, but we then, from this time onwards, and that was in 2012, we did this project together. And from the beginning, there was the idea of the transfer. So in the middle of what we wanted to do was the transfer of historical knowledge of the city and knowledge management. Our central aims were to have a georeference digital knowledge platform for the city of Vienna based on this printed encyclopedia in 6 volumes. And in the spatial reference of what we wanted to do was all territory that in history has been part of the city. And for us, it's important that we bring together all historical knowledge about the city of Vienna from the administration itself, so from the city and all its departments, and external experts in the field, so from all over the world. So we want to have a continuous growth and update of historical knowledge about Vienna. So the city wants to share its data with citizens, and the city wants to enable citizens to contribute to this project. So what we did was to put together a team and an editorial staff that are 3 persons from the archives, 3 persons from the library, and in the future there will be also 3 persons from the museum. And it was especially these 6 persons from the archives and the library that also built up the wiki and now secures the quality standards referring to texts and images. And in both institutions there is 1 person responsible for the organization and the content, and another one for the technical aspect. So in our case, for organization and the content, that's me, and in technical aspects it's Hannes Tauber, whom all of you know by now. But we also had we had 15 students working for us last summer. They adapted the content of the encyclopedia to the wiki, so they transformed the printed version into the main articles in the wiki and filled in the semantic forms. So this, I don't want to lose time talking about technology. I don't want, it will be no big surprise for you to read that we ended up using semantic media wiki. That was not so clear in the beginning because the IT department wanted us to use another tool. They wanted us to use WordPress. So we said no, that's not. We guess that's not the tool we want to use. Then in the end, and that it was very important to have Bernhard Grabiner on our side and having good arguments on our side. Then we ended up to use semantic media wiki, and we are very happy and think that this is the right solution for us. Important for us as well that. That's not the cheapest solution, but for us it was important to keep the data within the magistrate. So the wiki is hosted by the IT of the city, and so we created forms. That was one of the major and most important works in the beginning when structuring the whole wiki, to think about which categories to form and which semantic forms to produce or to establish in the background. We then decided to have 5, in the beginning 5, now we've got 6 categories, and that's mainly persons and topographic objects. So persons, that's pretty clear, that are biographies of persons with a certain connection to Vienna. That's in the moment 8,500 persons, but the library will add 8,000 persons within the next days from their databases, as far as I know. We've got approximately 10,200 streets, places, hills and rivers in the category topographic objects. Then buildings, that's in the moment about 4,700 houses, churches, bridges, monuments, and etc. Then the new category we created in our organizations. It's about 800 companies, societies, institutions, etc. Events, you can see only 60 events, so that would be to give you an example, for example, the first siege of Vienna by the Turks in 1529 or things like that. So that's only 16 a moment, so there's a lot to do for the future, and diverse, so articles that do not fit to another category, 3,700. Okay, so let's, I want to show you how this looks like now. So here we are now on the main page of this wiki. Here you can see the 6 categories I was talking about, the persons, the topographic objects, and so on. So in a moment we've got 27,907 articles and 1,407 pictures or images. You will probably ask yourself why only 2,400 images. One has to say that we had a legal problem. We couldn't use the depictions from the printed version, so all the depictions now in the wiki are more or less from the archives, a few from the also from the library, and we add constantly up. Let me show you one topographic object. Straße. So this is a street within the first district. So what you can see here, we've got a main text with links. We've got Gebäudes, that's buildings, important buildings of the street. We have got literature. What you can see here, what you cannot see here is footnotes. That's an extension that we will have hopefully in the beginning of 2015, not available now. But what I wanted to say with this is that we want people, or I said it before, we want experts to use this wiki. Everybody is allowed to use this wiki. This is open for the public. This is not only for the city of Vienna, not only for the magistrate. We want everybody who is an expert in the history of Vienna to use this wiki and to write in here. One has to register here, anmelden, to register here once at wien.at, and then hopefully read this what we have here, Leitfaden, so this guideline how to use this wiki and what we intend with this wiki. And then we coming in, from this the printed version, which was created here in the archives and which of course has some sort of a scholarly character. We want to keep this up, so this is why we want to have footnotes and also sources and literature to be cited here. We've got depictions. Depictions are in a moment defined as not being larger than 100 megabytes and kilobytes, I'm sorry, and only in the width 390 pixels. That's for 2 reasons. Because on the one hand, we've got the Wien Museum, so the historical museum of the city, working with us, and they want to sell their pictures, so they don't want high resolution images here because they want to sell it and just say, okay, this is more or less an ad, and who is interested can buy it then at the museum. But on the other hand, it's very, of course, the costs play a role. So if one of the departments, or if for example the archives want to load up a higher resolution image, we can do this via our archival information system and link it to the wiki. So here we can see data from included into the forms, and we've got here, and that's important, we've got here the city map. The city map, this is the city map. If we go here to the full version, the city map, there's the normal city map, and we've got several categories, or including several layers. Here, Kulturgut, so that's all more or less cultural heritage. That's archaeology as well as monuments and things like that. And where you've got the red dots, there's more information about the house or the monument or whatever. In the moment, not coming from the wiki. That's a pity, but we have in the moment a connection to this platform, to this geographical platform called Wien Kulturgut. But there's a lot of work, as you can see, to to be done to interact, that the wiki and Wien Kulturgut will interact in a better way. So we don't want to go here. Show you another example. Let's go to Wittgenstein. So I want to show you the example of a building in a third district. Again, the main text. Here, the forms. Here you can see that I want to show you how the wiki interacts with our archival information system. In the moment you click first of all, we've got here we've got a source here, a source that links directly to the archival information system. Okay, here we are now in the archival information system. You get the location where this source is located in our holdings, and you can click here on the image, and you've got a higher resolution image here. So this is possible, but will not be done for all, not in a systematical way. So, but only there where we want it to be done. We think this makes sense. I can also show you one person. Let's see. The same works with the persons, where we've got more semantic forms. Here we've got personal data, but also addresses where this person lived, where the person is patron for certain streets, and so on. And here we have got the link to the library system. Here, for example, you would get the one important opus of Johann Strauss, the Fledermaus, and you can here then go to the content and see the digitized opus. Okay, so go back. So that's just to give you a short overview over the wiki. And yeah, probably go to the queries that so the reports that were also an important tool for us to have it. Let's go to Bauwerke here. For example, we want to know for example here, let's say we want to know, want to have all bridges of the first district, a very simple query, and here we've got all bridges of the first district. Yeah, but just to, that's not very sophisticated. Okay, but so let's go back to the presentation. Yeah, I'm almost done. There's only one thing I want to add, which is important. When we presented the wiki in September, there was a lot of response, and also a lot of discussion about the legal conditions of use. So probably not important for all of you, but I just wanted to mention it. In a moment, we're talking about articles, and we're talking about at images, and we've got several legal restrictions in a moment. As I said before, there is this license agreement, and due to the license agreement, we cannot, we cannot be as open as we want to give data away that we do not own, or where we've got a license agreement. So we've got in a moment, after having had a lot of negotiations going on between us and the Directorate of the Magistrate, we've got rather restrictive legal conditions that say that external contributors convey all rights they have on text and images to the city of Vienna, which is of course not where we want to end up. The images are under a CC BY license, non-commercial, no derivatives. But what I want to add here is, because that's probably important to know, that we are working on this. So we want to come to a solution where we end up with a more free and more open way of giving away this data. Because as we heard of in the case of Lower Austria, of course, there's in Vienna also an open government data strategy, and due to the open government data guideline of the city of Vienna, the wiki data will be provided in the future as open government data. What I can announce here is that all the data that we collected in the forms will be given away as open government data at the latest in March of next year, when next phase of cultural data release happens. But due to this legal, license agreement, we can give away all the data from the main texts that we have in the moment, and we will not be able to give them away in the future. Why only in March? Because we have to improve the data, we have to add data, and we think that in March of next year we will have the data in such a shape that we can give it away, and that can be used for apps or whatever, and that will be the right date. So thank you very much for listening.